Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day. I wanted to talk to you about this interesting post I found on the JP side of Twitter about the current ecosystem and specifically the problem of how it feels like farming in the overworld is completely pointless. This is Baeru. They're a smaller content creator for Wuthering Waves, but they are a day one player who plays every day for hours at a time. They spend so much time playing Wuthering Waves, I think it would put anyone else to shame, and they've got the receipts to prove it. They made this post here, which got a bit of attraction in the JP side of Wuthering Waves Twitter with over 1,400 likes, 432 retweets, and 318,000 views. I've already translated this, and I'll leave links in the description below if you want to check it for yourself. So, what exactly is their problem with echoes in Wuthering Waves? Wuthering Waves' unique ecosystem in which equipment drops from enemies defeated in the open world is a really great system, so it's a shame that it's not being fully used. First of all, it's completely pointless for those who think that farming is a hassle. If you're someone who thinks this, why do I have to defeat enemies in the field every time I want to get equipment, it's so annoying, then of course there's nothing interesting about it for you. For this demographic, obtaining echoes via dungeons, i.e. tacit fields, and spending stamina to get them is fine. With the implementation of the main stat modifier, it is now possible to easily obtain the desired base material with matching attributes without having to farm so much in the open world. So even those who think that overworld farming is a hassle will of course enjoy this. But here comes the problem. The current ecosystem. It's meaningless even for people who enjoy farming and want to do it more. This is the demographic of people that Baeru, the author of this, falls into. They enjoy farming, they enjoy the farming grind, and he's saying that these main stat modifiers are completely pointless for people like him. This is because that while you can pick up an infinite number of base units, so you can pick up an infinite number of echoes, should I say, you can hardly open up any of the substats. This is mainly due to the number of tuners used and the return rate. He says, "My bag is full of undeveloped echoes waiting for me to level and unlock their substats, so I'm no longer picking up any new echoes when out in the field. Recently, I've just been collecting Whispering cores for no reason." And like I said, here's the receipt. His bag is full of gold level Whispering cores. Farming in the open world only becomes meaningful for a few days after a new Sonata set is added. In other words, the only people who benefit from the current ecosystem are those who think that farming is fun, but don't play that much. Even if you farm in the open world for over an hour or more, or just even 30 minutes every day, you'll easily reach a point where there's no point in picking up any new echoes. So I don't care how they go about it, I just want it to be easy to see, even if it's just the first substat. I want them to make farming in the overworld actually mean something. Personally, I think it would be fine if only the first substat slot were visible when you obtain an echo. I just want to be able to see what's in the first slot at the very, very least. I don't mind if you still need to use tuners to unlock it either. If they did something like this, I wouldn't even mind if they increased the number of tuners needed to unlock that first substat from whatever it is to 20 or even more. That would at least give meaning to farming so many echoes. If it remains in its current half-baked state, where neither those who want to play nor those who don't want to play benefit, it would be a real waste of this excellent system that makes use of this well-crafted and beautiful open world. I started playing this game from the beta testing stage because I was very attracted to the open world and its addictive aspect of the ecosystem, so I'm really looking forward to any of these kind of changes. Also, I'm even willing to pay money. He says that he's already paid over 1 million yen, so I would like them to make a monthly paid pass for tuners, and why not add one for Echo Experience too, seeing as some people are running out of those Echo Experience records. He got a fair few replies from people saying that his idea would create a further divide between those who farm more and those who don't, so he made a follow-up post to respond to that criticism. Of course, it's natural that there will be a difference between those who do it and those who farm and those who don't. Even though it's a game that doesn't really have any competitive elements, more and more people cannot accept that. This is probably due to the spread of social media. This is my response, assuming that you understand these two things. Some people say that the gap between those who farm and those who don't will widen. That's not true. The difference never widened to that extent in the first place. There are users who, like me, seek meaning in farming, and each Sonata set has a certain amount of strong echoes, so even if they implement something which makes farming become more meaningful, there will only be a slight change with perhaps 100% combat power becoming around 101% combat power. Wuthering Waves is both a gacha game, a game in which DPS changes dramatically depending on the player's knowledge and operation, and a game where the controls available vary depending on the device, so those playing with a controller or keyboard and mouse have an advantage over those who are playing on smartphones, for example. Particularly, the difference that is created depending on the player's knowledge and skill is so large that it's hard to believe that it's a gacha game in the first place. For example, when Zanny came out, the first stage of the Tower of Adversity was cleared in just 16 seconds with a Zanny Phoebe team of no sequences, as in no copies. I repeat, no sequences. Even if someone with little knowledge or skill fully maxed out all of their characters, it would be nearly impossible to clear TOA faster than this. Speaking of devices, unless smartphone players are very used to the touch controls, purchasing a controller and learning how to use it and becoming better at that will vastly improve your DPS much more than paying to upgrade your characters. Speaking of the cost of spending, if you have a few fully maxed out characters and the knowledge and skills to play, you can beat almost all holograms in 0 seconds, with just a few exceptions. In conclusion, there is already a huge gap between players depending on the amount spent, knowledge of the game, player skill, etc. Players who want to find more meaning in the overworld farming already have a certain number of strong echoes. From these 2 points, in response to opinions like, if we create meaning in farming, the gap will widen, I want to say the gap cannot be widened any further than it already is anyway. This phrase is a little ambiguous in English, but what he means is that depending on your skill, there's a huge gap between players. Depending on how much you wail, there's a huge gap. Depending on how much you know, there's a huge gap. But also that you can make up for any one of these gaps by learning more or by practicing more or even just by wailing more. So this criticism and this worry from the community are unfounded in the first place. He made a couple of follow-up posts to further clarify that he doesn't mean that he wants the echo grind to be too easy. He says here, I'm not talking about wanting to select substats or easily create strong echoes. I just want to experience the excitement of finding out what will come up when farming echoes. Since Wuthering Waves has this awesome system where defeating enemies in the open world drops equipment for characters, I want them to make even more use of this. And let's just take a look at the replies. First one here. It would be a good idea to be able to trash an enhanced echo and get either a tuner or echo experience from it. That sounds familiar. Second one here. I think just being able to feed echoes directly into other echoes would make quite a difference. Basically saying that they should let us use unleveled echoes as experience fodder. Again, that sounds very, very familiar. This person here is saying that they like the idea of having a monthly pass for tuners and echo experience, so there's that. And on the topic of people complaining about widening players' gaps, this user said this. For those who say the gap is widening, it's a solo game, so talks of gaps or whatever is just nonsense. There's no point even listening to the opinions of those flower-brained idiots who are competing with some invisible, imaginary rival. And yes, I know I titled this video Japan's biggest problem with echoes, and this is just one user. Definitely doesn't seem to be representative of a whole country, I get it. But this is just a post that I feel best encapsulates the conversation that I hear whenever echoes and echo farming is brought up in Japan. I can assure you that while yes, it is just one guy, this is very much representative of how the majority of Wuthering Waves players feel in Japan. But what about you? What do you think about echoes, farming, and substats? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you like this video and you want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it greatly supports the channel. So until next time, I will see you in the next video. Peace.